welcome to today's tutorial. This game I nearly lost was due to one very silly error, and so I'm going to explain it to you. It is the prioritization of a move where you are checking your opponent. So if you're not familiar with it, do watch on, and even if you are familiar with that idea, this is a very good example of it, a very good example. And it's one of those things that you simply have to learn if you're going to become an advanced chess player. And you're going to lose games every now and then because you're going to forget about it, because you get into the thick of the fight. So let's go with it. It's e4. And we've got some funny pawn moves there coming from white, and also some funny pawn moves coming from me. I mean, I make possibly the most dangerous pawn move of all, moving the one on the king's bishop, and then the one in front of the queen, just to bolster it so that he can't push. Because I do notice these days people push pawns a lot. Aren't they aggressive players these days? I put the bishop here, which is possibly a bit of a stupid place to put it. I'm really cramping my style here. I'm kind of making sure I can't castle in this game. I don't know why. I'll tell you what it is. All right, I'm going to explain exactly why I did it. I work on this basis of chess chaos. What is the idea behind chess chaos? It is the idea that I will make the board unusual and unexpected, and I will be comfortable in that chaos, but my opponent will not. Opponents these days, they learn chess systems. What is a system? It's not chaos, it's the opposite, it's a system. A system is the opposite of chaos. What I have learned to do, and what you must learn to do if you're going to beat these system players, is to embrace the chaos. That's why I use Alekhine's opening so much, because it gives you some unusual board positions and it catches your opponent out. So let's just carry on. That's my explanation as to why I've got such a bizarre opening here, and you must admit it's about the most bizarre one you've ever seen. Why he allows all this taking to happen, it gives me his bishop. You see, I don't think he realised I could take that, because my knight was on an unusual square. So let's just go back. This is what I'm talking about with chess chaos, you see? Do you see? Normally the knight would be sitting on its home square to capture on that square. It's a very odd square that my knight is sitting on. And I think he just didn't see it. He didn't think it would be there. Bingo, bango, bongo, and I am a piece up. So let's watch how his aggression plays out here. He is getting mighty aggressive with the queen pawns. He wants to castle kingside and ram the queen pawns down. I really get annoyed by this when it is used just as a system, because far too many players do this.
I'll castle one side and push the pawns down the other. If my opponent castles one side, I'll castle the other.
Yes, we saw it in famous games. We all learned it in Raymond Keene's fantastic book, The 12 Best Games of Chess. But it is not something you should model your game on. Oh, he's still at it. And you know, when you push pawns forward, you weaken your position very substantially. He's got a pawn there that is completely undefended. Can you see which one? Two, in fact. And I'm going to take one of them, possibly the one you didn't see. Well, in fact, no, there's three actually. There's three that are undefended, and I'm going to take that one. Now, one does have to be careful here, because he could move that knight in a way that is threatening to another piece, and then he is attacking my queen while moving the knight. But at the moment, the only place he can move the knight safely is to in front of his bishop. Otherwise, I'll take the knight. Or he can get ready by moving the bishop there. So now his rook is defended, but as you see, I won a pawn from that lot. I can move back now, and he gets ready to castle, so I get ready to castle. But look, just see the chaos in front of my king. How many chess players understand even what I've done there? I don't even understand it myself.
Kingside castling. Kingside castling.
Those two bishops there, I've never even had bishops on squares like that. That's absolutely insane, but it works in a funny kind of way. There is one big problem with my position, and my enemy is going to exploit it, and that is that I do have an undefended piece. Can you see which one? I'm sure you can. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it, and he's going to take advantage of it, so you'll see how he does that. So now I bring this rook over to here so that I can push the pawn on the queen. And also to defend that pawn, because I don't have anything defending it. So again, there are weaknesses in my position. Chess chaos isn't all about strength. Sometimes you get weaknesses. It does this weird, silly attack, completely pointless, and my queen comes down to here. Again, I'm attacking an undefended pawn. He defends it. So I've got this nice dark squared line towards his king. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do with it at the moment. His king's actually pretty well defended, I have to say. Now, why do I bring this knight back? Well, it was originally so that I could do this and try and push his bishop away. And then I thought, why am I doing that? What would be the point of that? This is far better. Look how many times I've got that square defended. It's defended by another pawn, by a knight, and by a rook. And what's in line? His queen. So we're going to go with that. So, of course, he gets angry and attacks my queen. And this is where he picks up my undefended knight that I didn't spot. Bosh, there it goes. I take a pawn, might as well be the first, and down comes his bishop, adding to the attack. But, you see, this is where we've got queens being attacked. So I take that pawn, which basically makes my rook be attacking his queen, in effect, through that bishop. He kind of can't move the bishop, but he does move it, but he moves it so it can take my queen. So basically he's saying, let's exchange queens. This is where the error occurs. I take his queen, he takes my queen. I take his bishop. That was the error. Can you see why that's an error? He takes my rook. Now let's look at the piece count. I've got a rook and 3 minor pieces. He's got 2 rooks and 2 minor pieces. We've both got the same number of pieces. I have a bishop for a rook, which towards the end game, to be honest, is not a big disadvantage. But look, now I'm going to show you what I should have done. So I had his queen under attack there, under threat, and he did this. Let's exchange queens, he's saying. Actually, I probably could have done that, because that's check. He has to take it. Then I could have done that. But again, you see, we're still with 4 pieces. So how can I make it so that I'm up a piece? How can I make this a bigger advantage? Have you seen it yet? How does it work? Well, the answer is you use the check. Do you remember that? You use the check. So yes, of course I take the queen first, because now he will have to take my queen next. He has to. Otherwise, if he does something like that, I can escape. Well, maybe not to that square, but I can escape. So, I take his queen. He takes my queen. Here's where I went wrong. Do you see his bishop is undefended? So, check here. He must capture, and I capture his bishop. Now look at the piece count. He's only got 3 pieces for my 4. So this is the rule that I was saying at the beginning of the video. It's when you have a capturing move that also has a check, you dictate the exact terms of exchange. You force the enemy to deal with the piece that gave check and no other piece. And if he doesn't deal with it, well, then he'll lose yet another piece. Right? So we're here. This is the double threat. Of course, I don't have to accept it. I mean, I could have just done something like that. I could have done a check there. That's not quite a check, but a threat of check. But here's the thing, right? Takes. Takes. And now, you see, if I take the bishop, he gets to capture in return. I take the bishop, he takes my rook. Yeah? But if I take his rook,
check.
Yes, he captures in return, but his bishop's still hanging. Bang. And now without 2 rooks, he can't cause me all the trouble he's now about to cause me, which I will show you. So I hope that's all gone in now. I've demonstrated it enough times now. Now we're going to show you the mistake I made, which was taking the bishop now. Very silly. Very silly. There I was thinking I must take that bishop while it's hanging. No, 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 I mustn't, because now he's captured that rook. And you see he's got 4 pieces, and after this, which, okay, it does give me a possibility of a knight to capture, but it's not really there. And now I've got I think there's I did actually manage to capture a knight there, so that was good. So I did manage to get the piece number correct, but I didn't do it the right way. And now we have his double rook danger. And I have to move the rook there. That is the only way of defending my pieces against his rook. But his knight is going to come up and cause havoc in a minute, as you see. Fortunately, he doesn't cause the right kind of havoc. Well, he does take a piece, which is annoying. So now the piece count is even. But in fact, he would have been better going there, because I can't actually defend against that properly. Well, I suppose I sort of can. I could go there. Anyway, he went there in the end, took my bishop, and then came back a funny way, which was wrong. I got my bishop to safety, and he gave a check here. Now, this is where he went completely wrong.
Check.
Because I went here, then I went back.
Check.
Well, why am I going to go anywhere else? I'm not going to go somewhere
Check.
different, am I?
Check. Threefold repetition.
Then we got threefold repetition. That's a draw. A very lucky draw. So I hope that lesson has been helpful. Sorry if it's a bit long-winded, but I think it was useful. The guy that I was playing, he was rated 1998, which is not really much above me, and not really my favourite kind of chess to play that, to be honest. It's trying to just push, aggressive, push stuff at me, push pawns at me. Not my favourite. So I was very glad to get that threefold repetition, but I did make a massive mistake on the exchange there. And if you've learned from that, do tell us in the comments below. Do like and subscribe if you want to learn more, because I teach chess in a different way. I teach it by experience and quite a big theory background that goes back to when I was younger. So if you enjoy all that, do like and subscribe to Chess Voices, the most relaxing chess channel on YouTube. See you all again soon. Bye for now.